straight ahead on CCX News.
The only thing I remember is hearing her voice. She kept saying, "Deb, stay with us."
Quick-thinking coworkers save a woman's life in Golden Valley. Plus, big changes coming to I-94 through Maple Grove. We'll preview the project expected to last 3 years. But first, the Crystal Police Chief gets behind a plan to help improve sexual assault investigations. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. Crystal Police Chief Stephanie REVERING is heading up a group that wants to change the way law enforcement agencies handle sexual assault cases. Reporter Sonia Goen shows us now to explain. Sonia?
Hey, Delane. Members with the Minnesota Peace Officers Standards and Training Board have been working on a plan to better handle sexual assault investigations. This 10-page document will be very easy for Crystal Police to adopt because they're already doing things recommended in the report.
We want to catch this person that did this to them.
For months now, Crystal Police Chief Stephanie REVERING, victims' advocates, and members of the general public have been reviewing old rape cases to see if they can improve investigation techniques.
This isn't to say that law enforcement hasn't been doing that. However, we can do a better job.
While police want to go after the person responsible for sexual assault, the investigation can sometimes be tough on the victim, and that's where the proposed changes come in. The report calls for officers to recognize that the victim has experienced a traumatic incident and may not be willing or able to immediately assist in the case.
They don't necessarily want to tell the story to us again because it was so horrific.
The proposal suggests that whenever possible, to conduct victim interviews in person, and that is not often the case now. The new policy also recommends a victim's advocate get involved from the very beginning.
It can be a really traumatic experience.
Jenna is with a victims advocacy group called Cornerstone. She's been embedded with the Crystal Police Department for more than a year.
A lot of victims will end up blaming themselves for what happened and looking at their own behavior and how they can change that.
She says every victim reacts differently, and that can be confusing for people interacting with the victims.
Some people, may be laughing. Some people may be in complete shock.
Chief REVERING says the plan will help streamline the investigative process and ensure everything is done to protect victims while going after their assailants.
I hope that the post board decides to adopt it and put it out to the entire state because it is something that is imperative for us and those victims.
Now, Crystal is one of 3 agencies in the state that has a victim's advocate embedded within the department. Meanwhile, the proposed policy will go before the Post Board on January 24th. The state legislature could also vote to mandate the plan. Delane?
All right, thank you, Sonia. Brooklyn Park Police are investigating an armed robbery that happened Tuesday night at a CVS pharmacy that recently opened. Officers responded at about 7:30 p.m. Tuesday at the CVS in the 4400 block of Oak Grove Parkway North. Police say the robber threatened workers with a handgun. Officers used a canine to try and track down the robber, but could not find the man. As we went to air Wednesday evening, police were still looking for him. A major road construction project is coming to the northwest suburbs. This summer, MnDOT begins a 3-year project on I-94 from Maple Grove to Clearwater. When finished, there will be extra travel lanes, resurfaced pavement, and rebuilt bridges. We get more now from Eric Nelson.
Minnesota's Main Street is getting a $350 million makeover, which is good news for CURT ZACHMAN.
I travel it several times a week.
He knows all about I-94 gridlock between the northwest suburbs and downtown Minneapolis and the long delays caused by traffic.
It definitely adds time. I mean, that's why I try to avoid it as much as I can, and I try to schedule around it so I don't have to sit in it.
MnDOT's 39-mile project will affect many cities along the I-94 corridor, including Maple Grove.
If we need to make some changes to our bus routes, we certainly will.
Maple Grove transit officials will be paying close attention to the project.
It's going to be a bear for a while, but in the end, hopefully it's a lot smoother sailing, including for the buses.
MnDOT is going to add a 4th lane on I-94 between State Highway 610 in Maple Grove and Highway 101 in Rogers.
Additional lane is going to help a lot.
While the St. Michael to Albertville chunk of I-94 is getting a 3rd lane.
For the most part, it'll be great because then more people are going to be able to come through here.
Nathan Anderson is the co-owner of Steve's Auto World in Maple Grove. His business should benefit from interstate improvements, but he also realizes there will be pain before the gain.
The end payoff is going to be better. It's going to be a lot less accidents, a lot more traffic flow, so it's going to be, I think, great for everybody.
As for ZACHMAN, he knows that with 110,000 vehicles using I-94 each day, improvements are overdue.
My time is more valuable sitting behind my desk helping clients than sitting in traffic.
One other benefit from this project will be a new interchange that's going to be built right here at Brockton Lane and I-94. In Maple Grove, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
Changes are coming to General Mills. The food giant wants to sell or lease one of its Golden Valley buildings. The Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal reports that the 92,000 square foot Bassett Creek building is the one up for sale. It reports that 200 employees work there and will be moved into the headquarters building. A company festival on Halloween last year turned into a nightmare situation for one Golden Valley company. A woman stopped breathing, but 3 of her coworkers stepped in and quite literally saved the day.
Your fast response in calling 911, administering hands-only CPR, and using an AED succeeded in restarting her heart and saving her life. So thank you very much for all your contributions.
Golden Valley recognized those 3 employees at Tuesday night's City Council meeting. Best Vendors, located on Highway 55, had just installed AEDs. It made all the difference in saving employee Deb Monzel.
All it takes is one, and Deb was the one so far. So we'll continue to carry the torch and do what we can to install more and more of these, because it was a game changer for us.
We were actually very pleased because she kept saying, "Get me out of here, get me out of here," and we knew then at that point we had her back.
Yes,
and
yelling, yeah.
Yeah, and we were happy to have her yelling.
Since 2012, the Golden Valley Fire Department has trained more than 5,000 people on how to do CPR and use an AED. If you can do those 2 things after someone has a heart attack, the survival rate goes up 80%. Still ahead, a place that has worked wonders for injured veterans. Plus, later in sports, a great overtime battle as Wayzata and Edina match up in a big girls hockey showdown. But first, here comes the cold. Temperatures expected to drop into the single digits on Thursday. It can take a long time for veterans to heal. Some come back with injuries that go untreated. Reporter Meredith Hackler shows us how one local organization is trying to help veterans heal.
We forget about our health because we tend to spend much more time worried about other people's health.
Tim Burley lived with back pain for years.
I would go golfing with my wife and actually have tears in my eyes hitting the ball.
It wasn't until he went through treatment with the Minnetonka nonprofit called Pain-Free Patriots that he was finally cured.
Today, I'm back to running. I'm back to, I haven't taken a Motrin in 2 months.
Tim is just one of 600 veterans the organization has helped in the last 8 years. When Doug Hughesby found out veterans weren't getting the treatment they needed for pain at the VA, he wanted to help. It's why he started Pain-Free Patriots.
There's 300,000 veterans in Minnesota like these people that gave up. There's 6 million nationwide, gave up. They need help. And so it seems like we're the only ones that can take them in and get them better.
Veterans don't have to pay for the treatments that doctors like Sheldon OSVOLD provide.
You know, honestly, it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done, and that's honestly why I continue working with the program.
Pain-Free Patriots uses tools and techniques that aren't always available at local VA hospitals.
Unfortunately, there are just certain technologies that they don't have access to, or they just haven't, chosen to utilize. A lot of the technologies that we bring to the Pain-Free Patriot program and helping the veterans are things outside of the scope of what they have available there.
And those techniques and treatments are life-changing to veterans. Just ask Tim Burley.
having somebody ask you questions of, have you done anything since the last appointment? Have you done this? Where are you feeling that pain? And then identifying it and actually taking the steps necessary to fix it, as opposed to next, 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 is what is huge for me and made the difference.
In Brooklyn Park, Meredith Hackler, CCX News.
Pain-Free Patriots offers services throughout the Twin Cities, including the Ultimate Wellness Center in Brooklyn Park. It's funded entirely through grants and donations. Still ahead, why this week's standout student is a true natural. But first, Champlin Park's girls basketball team builds a big lead and then has to fight off a comeback. John Jacobson has the details up next.
The top 3 teams in this week's state Class AA girls hockey rankings all play in Section 6AA, Blake, Edina, and Wayzata. 2 of those teams faced off Tuesday night in Plymouth. The 3rd-ranked Trojans at home to take on number 2 Edina. An early goal here from C.C. Bowlby off the pass from Telejungles. 1-0 Edina 5 minutes into the game. Trojans tie it late in the first. Gretchen Bratton to Sloan Matthews. It's 1-1 through 1 period. Matthews with her team-high 17th goal of the season. Watch the great pass from Emily Wisniewski to Branton, who goes in to score on the breakaway. Let's go in the second period. Ties the game at 2. Same score in the third. Lily Hendrickson to Jungles, and she picks the top corner of the Wayzata net to score. And the Hornets are back in front 3-2. But the Trojans answer again. Mackenzie Schiller's shot from just inside the blue line finds the back of the Edina net. It's 3-3 on Schiller's power play goal. This one goes to overtime, and Edina gets a 2-on-1 rush. Katie Davis to Jane Keel and back to Davis, who ends it with this game-winning goal. Edina takes it in overtime 4-3. The Hornets are now 17-3 on the season. The Osseo boys basketball team doesn't have a lot of varsity experience returning this season. The Orioles had impressive wins over Champlin Park and Armstrong last week, and they look to continue a 3-game winning streak as they hosted Totino-Grace. The Eagles, though, have other ideas. The Osseo defense backs off. Chase Livingston drives to the hoop for a layup and an early 10-4 Grace lead. Eric Krieger is the Eagles' top scorer. He turns the corner and gets all the way for the layup on his way to a 23-point night. Osseo comes storming back. Tariq Henry penetrates and then dishes back to Cornell Richardson for a 3 from the top of the key. The Orioles go on a 13-0 run to lead 21-17. And their shots start to drop. Chaz Franklin slips a nice bounce pass. Richardson a 3-ball, and Osseo's up 27-18 at halftime. The momentum swings back to Totino-Grace in the second half. Devin Berger spots up for a 3. The Eagles with a 17-4 scoring run, and Berger scores 18 on the night. The Eagles execute well down the stretch. On the inbounds play, they get it over to Berger for another open look, and Grace leads it 45-38. Their defense strong in this game. DJ Akpati gets the steal and starts the break, getting a floater to drop as Totino-Grace hands Osseo a 55-45 loss. The Orioles face rival Maple Grove Friday. In Class 2A boys basketball, Maranatha Christian Academy with a 10-game winning streak into their game against St. Croix Lutheran. Makai Harut with that basket there, and then the rebound here for Zachary Doley for the basket for the Lions. Late first half, Christian Davis with a 3 for the Mustangs. And they lead by 7 at halftime. Early second half, Maranatha cuts on the run to Kim Daniels to Clarence Daniels, and he finishes. St. Croix runs the break, and Nolan Gruish slashes to the hoop. He scores 2 of his 18 points. Danielle McCarroll rises up and hits a 3, cutting Maranatha's lead to 47-46. But midway through the second half, the Mustangs take over. Hakeem Daniels with a tough rebound and putback. The junior nets 26 points in the game. Justin Mason floats the pass to Davis. He glides in for the hoop. And then Hakeem Daniels gets free and scores, plus an intentional foul is called on the Lions. He hits both free throws for a 4-point play. 8th-ranked Maranatha with a win over number 6 St. Croix Prep, 79-58 the final. After a 2-7 start to the season, Champlin Park's girls basketball team was shooting for a 4th-straight win in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Rebels at home to face 9-3 Elk River. Maya Dubose played a strong floor game, and she drives and scores 2 over 9 points here for Champlin Park. The Rebels shoot the ball well, especially in the first half. Amelia Valentino off the bench hits 3 3-pointers and scores 9 first-half points. Champlin Park sophomore Maya Fitzpatrick with a 3. The Rebels open up a 9-point lead. Senior Michaela Johnson gets an offensive rebound and puts it back up to score 2 more. Champlin Park builds a 23-point lead. They lead by 18 at halftime. Second half, Dubose open on the wing and buries a 3-pointer. And Champlin Park's ahead by 19 points with just 12 minutes to play. But the Elks mount a huge comeback. Michaela Cannonwisher makes 1 of 5 Elk River threes in the second half. They're within 11. Under 3 minutes to go, it's Joanna Langbin with an offensive board and putback. Elk River within 4. That's as close as they get, though. Champlin Park wins this one, final score 67-58. And that's it for sports. Delane's back with more in just a moment.
Finally, a standout student who excels at so many different things that they may hide his true passion. Neil Persley finds out what really lights up Jared Penshorn at Heritage Christian Academy.
Oh, man, there's a lot I do here.
Jared Penshorn is sort of a jack of all activities at Heritage Christian Academy.
One of my big loves is music. I'm in the band and the choir. I play trumpet. Well, it's a funny story. I sing tenor in regular choir, and then I'm also in the select choir, and I sing bass for that. Well, God's gifted me with a pretty expanded vocal range, so I can sing a lot.
And his interests don't stop there.
I'm a big-time baseball player. I absolutely love to play baseball.
And he's not a bad dancer either. But the thing that drives this standout student academically is another passion.
I just love nature, and I love being outdoors.
He's an avid fisherman, and he has a great respect for the outdoors.
I want to do sort of what's in my power to help that and protect that for future generations, but also for my enjoyment later in life.
For as long as I've known Jared, he's always had a big interest in science, particularly in environmental science.
I'm a big wilderness canoer. I absolutely love to be out in the woods and on lakes and on rivers.
So it's no surprise that he's looking at a career that somehow involves environmental science.
It may be sort of obvious, but it sort of gets slipped under the rug.
Is the caliber of person Jared is becoming.
I love talking to people, and I love investing myself in their life to try to help them out as much as possible.
That makes him truly stand out at Heritage Christian Academy. Neil Persley, CCX News.
Kid who can do it all. Well, that's all the news for now. Thanks for joining us. We will see you back here again tomorrow starting at 4.